I'm creating this video more for me than for anyone else, really. It's just kind of a culmination of everything I've done in my self-improvement journey to try and help myself remember where I'm coming from, remember where I'm going, because obviously I have time left. I'm 15 years old. This is just the start. But I've made a lot of progress, and I think me saying this might help you because you can see where you're at on the journey and what might be ahead of you. So really where it all started is when I decided that I didn't like the way my stomach looked. I kind of decided that I was getting too chubby and that there probably's got to be something to fix it. And then I discovered YouTube ab workouts. At first, I just did this little app. It was like a 30-day app trainer or whatever. I even did the workouts with my mom. Super embarrassing. But like, it started to kind of internalize the idea for me that temporary pain can bring long-term pleasure, you know? Yeah, so that's where it started. And then after that, I start to kind of fall off a little bit, you know? Like, so the ab workouts, I did it more and more and more intense, until it got to the point where it was actually like really annoying to do. And I would like start doing other workouts and stuff. Interestingly enough, throughout like my whole self-improvement journey, I never really stopped working out, but it was like the other things that I was doing, because that was around the time that I found, you know, like porn and stuff, and like it's so addictive. It's so addictive. It's so easy to get hooked on that. Like, yeah, it was a dark time. So I started doing that compulsively, and it wasn't like terrible. It was just like a few times per week, but I could still feel it like hanging over me, like pulling me towards doing it, and it took mental willpower to not have to. Whereas like the point where I'm at now, no willpower is needed. I haven't over a year now, I think, and I don't even think about it. Like it's not difficult to stop. That's progress. That's really big, and like a lot of guys don't understand how much change they can make in their lives just by changing that one thing. But anyway, yeah, so there's that gets started, and then also around that time COVID hits, right? And also I started getting into playing video games with friends. So addictive. It starts out with games like Overwatch and then turns into games like Fortnite, where you're incentivized to get on every day and complete your battle pass challenges, you know, and like level up. And it's just it's the whole culture 2018 of getting into that, and then moving forward into 2020 when COVID hits. Screwed. Like, for a really long time there, the only thing I'm doing is like working out and like playing video games. It's bad. But like the thing is, there's still bursts and glimmers of hope here and there. Like during COVID, I discovered meditation. There's a time at the beginning of COVID when I'm actually doing really well, because I have more time to myself and I'm using that time productively, believe it or not. I'm spending more time with my family, more time outside, as much as I can, you know, once the lockdown was lifted a little bit. I'm going on walks. I'm, you know, meditating between classes because I had virtual school, obviously. And it was like a good time. But then what starts happening is there's friends that want to play video games with me and stuff, and like you don't notice that the habits kind of go away, the positive ones, but there's just a day when you skip out, just one day, and you're like, okay, you don't even notice it, because before that, what's been leading up to it is this used to be a morning habit for you. Like, you used to meditate every morning, but then you started missing it some mornings, so it kind of got moved later into the day because you're busy in the day, so it's going to move all the way towards the night, and then you'll do it at night, there's like a couple days where you almost forget, but you remember right away, and you do it like right before you go to bed. But then one day you miss it. You probably do it the next day. You're like, dang, unfortunate. I'll get it this time. Then you miss it twice in a row. And then you don't do it again. It's easy as that. That's about the progression that all habits make when you're losing them. A habit that you're trying to build. And I've noticed this several times. Probably dozens of times throughout my life trying to build new habits. If you don't get over that little hump there, then that's the progress that it makes every single time. You have to tie it to a certain time. You can't let yourself be responsible for picking the time. I meditate every single morning right after I go into the bathroom and wash my face and brush my teeth. Like, it's glued in place and it won't move, even on weekends, even on vacation. That's the important thing. Like, a day of missing it isn't gonna matter, but if you go on vacation and miss it for 7 days, like, that can kind of do a beating on your habit. It depends what it is and how long you've been doing it, because environment also matters. But this is a tangent. Okay, back to my self-improvement. So yeah, I start playing video games more and more, and then something terrible happens. 8th grade, ELA class. I'm put into a class with a lot of people who I think are friends, and I've been hanging out with them for a while, but they actually have like several group chats and places that they're talking to each other without me, and it kind of weighs, like, that's terrible wording. They have inside jokes, say at the lunch table, that they're all laughing about, but I don't get them. Okay, so I start not laughing when they joke about things because I don't understand. And then, like, most of the stuff they're talking about isn't actually concerning me, so I stop listening. And when you stop listening, you're not talking about anything. You're not making any comments. You kind of give up. I gave up talking. What happens when you stop talking at the lunch table? Well, if it works fine there, why do you have to talk anywhere else? Like, plus you're not really in a good mood because after you ate lunch and you just sat there for an hour and didn't talk to anyone, you're probably not feeling great about yourself, you know? So my social skills started rapidly declining, right? And it wasn't helped by the fact that I looked different than a lot of people, because admittedly my old style was terrible. I used to wear, like, you know, the Nike shorts and a Nike shirt every single day, like sweatpants and a sweatshirt. There were no jeans, no like random t-shirts that were like band t-shirts. No, none of that. Surf shirts, no. That's something else I had to change. But regardless, they saw that I was different and that I wasn't, like, I didn't really know about a lot of, like, trends and stuff because I don't spend all that time on social media, and so I was left out of that too. And also, I wasn't in their group chat, so I had no idea what was happening. Anyway, so then it comes to this kid named, I don't want to reveal his name online, so I'm just gonna call him Patrick. So Patrick is, I think he's better now, and I don't think he meant to do anything by this, and I don't know, we're fine now, we're kind of friends, but what he did was really impactful to my life and kind of traumatized me. So in gym every day, we do a little warm-up where we jog around the court, basketball court. I feel like this is, like, been around forever. So we're doing our warm-up, and I'm just walking along, talking to my friend Luke, right next to me, and then bang, across the back of my neck, slap. This kid named Patrick, yeah, he hits me as hard as he possibly can across the back of the neck. And you're like, oh, it's men playing around. This was not men playing around. He hadn't done it to anyone else, and he didn't do it to anyone else later in the day. This was because I had become the social punching bag of the group. And there was another guy that was also a social punching bag, and it was actually so embarrassing because we literally fight at the bottom of the group to not be the social punching bag. Terrible. And this just killed my self-respect. And then you'll never believe this. Just a few days later, we're doing, I'm in English class, we were doing a class play, Romeo and Juliet, so we're practicing. Bang! Again, right in the middle of a scene, across the back of my neck, in front of the entire class. And so the teacher yells at him, and he's like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, are you? And he said, no. And then I get so mad, but I don't do anything. I don't hit him back. I don't, like, yell at him. I just stand there. And that's kind of a moment that's been in my memory for a really long time. And even now, I still don't know what the right thing to do is. Like, do you hit him back? Do you go off on him? Do you, like, pull him aside and say something to him? Like, hey man, can you not do that to me? It's like, but then you just sound like you're like, stop. Yeah, it was a really traumatic moment, and I'm still trying to work through it, but, you know, time heals. I'll figure out what the best way to deal with it is eventually. Yeah. So needless to say, I was very happy for that year to end. And this is where I made all of my progress. The summer, after the year of 2022. Yeah, going into 2023. This was just last year. I can't even believe it. So over those 3 months, I transformed my life. I found Hamza, a YouTuber, you probably know him, and it was mostly him, honestly, that transformed my life. There were also things like a dopamine detox and, you know, like certain other YouTubers, but this was my content consuming time. But for once, the content I was consuming was geared towards improving myself instead of entertainment and tearing myself apart. I stopped playing video games. I stopped eating dessert, junk food. I stopped, you know, like jacking off and stuff. And I stopped wasting time on my phone playing Clash Royale for 8 hours a day. I have so much more time now, you know? So what am I to do this that time? Oh, I start meditating every single morning, every morning. It's a habit that I haven't broken for a year now. Like, I've only missed a few days here and there, very few days of my morning meditation. It was always when it was like on vacation away from home, and I'd miss like one day because it was just so hectic. But it's one of the biggest habits you can implement to improve your life. And then also after that, like, I started weightlifting for real. It was good stuff. Like, I stopped doing the same routine every day and I started focusing on progressive overload. Wow. I started, you know, reading more books about self-improvement. Started trying to hang out with friends more and work out with them. It was really a stoppage of doing things rather than a start of doing things that helped me, because there was so much that I had to stop. And at the end of that year, at the end of the summer, I was still very socially awkward. That's what I needed to work on. That was my main roadblock towards improvement. Whenever I would get into a group setting with like people to talk to, I'd be terrified, you know? So I joined the track team, cross country in the fall. The cross country team has practices over the summer. They start in July. Yeah. I didn't go to the July practices. I was on vacation, but I went to the August ones. And that was one of the scariest moments of my whole summer. Just walking into that practice with no one that I knew, with a bunch of weird, noisy, distant kids that would run around, make weird jokes that I didn't understand, and use weird names for each other. I didn't understand. It was one of the best decisions I've ever made, joining that group. Because forcing myself to be there every single day with that social interaction, incredible. Does incredible things. I met people, so I had my foot in the door for the school year. I improved my discipline from running, because it's not easy to run all those miles per day. When I got into the season, I was hitting like 40 miles per week. My Sunday long runs would be 8 miles long. You know, my weekday runs would be about 6 miles long. It was good stuff. Good stuff. I was improving too. Like, I was pretty good. Probably the second best freshman at the time. I still am now. Anyone who knows running, I've got just this season, this spring season, I got 5:02 in the mile and 2:11 in the 800. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll tell you that later. All right, and now the school year starts. Okay, I'm still pretty socially awkward. Like, it's getting better, but I still feel like, a sense of anxiety. If someone like tries to joke around with me, I usually don't know what to say. Or like, if someone criticizes me, I don't know what to say. Like, I kind of freeze up. But I start like talking to people, and it's really scary at first. Like, I don't want to. And like in classes, it's really difficult for me, like, to just talk to random people. So I'm hanging on to some of my old friends. I eat lunch with this one guy like every day, and he's just a guy that like plays a lot of video games. He's not the type of guy that you want to be hanging out with. Stays up late, eats bad food, complains, doesn't do his work, no discipline. I mean, he's like a friend that I've known for a long time, but not a friend that I want to emulate and become. Yeah. Okay. So I'm hanging out with him, and every day at lunch, we are there for 50 minutes, and something has to happen. So I force myself to try and make conversation, and it's really halting and weird at first. I'm not very good at it. He's not very good at it. We make like no eye contact. We're talking about random stuff, and it's like mostly music. I let him talk about what he's interested in, because like I don't have the social skills to bring up things that I'm interested in. And it sounds a little weird to say now, but like that's actually what happened. Yeah. Okay, so fast forward throughout the year, say to the winter. So, okay, I got injured at the end of the cross-country season. However, cross-country has still been a huge improvement for my life. Hanging out with all these people, making friends, getting actually close with them. And something that I learned about friendships is that the more time you invest in them, the easier that conversation will be, and the closer with them you will be. The better time you'll have when you hang out with them. It sounds obvious, but like, it's really true. Like, the conversation actually gets easier if you put yourself in more situations where the conversation's difficult. I don't know, just have experiences with each other and you have more to talk about. Yeah, anyway, so end of the winter season, moving on to like, we go through December, and okay, so I'll circle back at this point. So at the end of my 2022 year, the traumatic year, I had a girlfriend, right? And it was like, okay, we just talked online, and it was like just over Snap, because she could like never meet up in person because she's always on some softball trip or whatever. It was meh. Okay. We broke up eventually. That was my first girlfriend. Nothing much to say. But getting into December, obviously I had no girlfriend like the whole time. And then I start like talking to girls more in class. Like, I make an attempt to talk to at least one girl per day. And like, this was something that I hadn't done before. I wouldn't just walk up to people and talk to them. Like, that was such a foreign concept for me. It was terrifying at first, but like, it's easy now, honestly. There's still like some people that I wouldn't talk to, or like it's difficult for me to talk to, but it's really getting better. Yeah. Anyway, April of 2023, I got a girlfriend. Okay, it kind of stalls the self-improvement journey. I feel like most people who've had a girlfriend will know this. It's hard to make improvements when you're committing time to a relationship. Okay, but I made very big social improvements hanging out with her, because she had a lot of friends and I meet her friends, and then I talk with them, talk with her. You have to talk with her a lot. Just a few short weeks later, we broke up. Okay. Literally like 2 weeks later, I got another girlfriend. And it was insane to me. Like, this is something I never expected before. When you put effort towards improving yourself, even just a little, you can easily become better than like 90% of men. And it's kind of insane how easy it is. Like, it's not that difficult. Okay, so we get into the spring season of track. I'm hanging out with my friends again more, learning how to make conversation finally. There was people in there that I would be like terrified to make conversation with. There was a big group, like a friend group, that were like kind of the popular kids of the track team, and I felt so excluded from them because I know they hang out themselves outside of school, and I felt like I couldn't talk with them. But then when I started talking with them individually, it got so much easier. That's the key to breaking into a friend group, is talking to its individual members. If you just have a foothold by one person into a friend group, it's so much easier to break in. Okay, so I'm also meeting more people in school, like kids I met through cross country, talking to their friend groups. It's really good stuff, really good. So a lot of the improvements I'm making right now are social, and it's going to continue to be social. I think I'm gonna make another big leap in my self-improvement journey right now over this summer, actually, because it's gonna be the first summer where I'm gonna actually hang out with people. I'm gonna make sure this happens, and it's also gonna be the first summer where I like stay committed to my goals, because I have a Notion like thing, and I'm going to look at it every single day. I'm gonna obsess over it. I have a YouTube channel, obviously, and it's growing. Some of my videos are getting like over 1,000 views, the shorts, like not the long form. And I'm excited for the future, you know? And I'm gonna continue to post on here about my improvements. I'm gonna tell you guys anything I learn along the way that I think could help you, because every person gleans their own personal information from these improvements, and there's gonna be some things that I can tell you from my unique experiences and set of reality, you know, like construction, that no one else will be able to give you. Okay? So the future of this channel is I'm gonna start posting more every single day this summer. There's gonna be a new video. I'm gonna start posting with friends more, because the end vision for my self-improvement journey is to create a tribe, right? I want to find more people my age, but the specific thing I want to do is endurance-focused things. Type 2 fun, if you know what that is. I want to go out with them on trails. I want to just be there as men. If there's women that want to join, like, maybe, but men. And we're gonna be open for criticism. We're gonna grow with each other. We're gonna tell stories, laugh together, grow close. Like, this is gonna be a tight group of friends. I'll focus on self-improvement, and we'll make businesses. Like, we'll travel together, improve together. Like, we're gonna talk to each other. But the goal is for the tribe to grow bigger, and for this like large tribe to create a lot of small break-off tribes. What I'm looking for is a tribe revival. I was just watching a video about that from Hamza and how tribes used to improve us so much and we've lost that now. Well, I want them to come back, but not in like the weird, like loosey-goosey tribe, hit the bongo, do our spiritual dance kind of thing. No, I just want tribes of people who are not going to exclude others. Like, it's all about belonging, and it's not like you have to worry about getting into this tribe. Like, if you want to join the tribe, you can. And if you're new, less people are going to talk to you, and you have to put into the tribe so you can get out of the tribe. Like, I'm not trying to be like too severe with this. Like, that's just kind of what happens. But like, as they get to know you better, they're going to talk to you, and they're not going to exclude you. Like, we're going to give each other criticism, but like, there's not going to be a punching bag. If I find a punching bag, I'm going to give him genuine advice because he probably needs to improve himself. And if he's not willing to improve himself, then I'm going to ask him to leave the group because he is not gaining from this because we're just beating up on him, and he would do better improving himself than coming back. Okay. That's what I'm trying to recreate. An environment where people can improve themselves without fear of random social trauma from people who have trauma themselves. It helps people find their purpose, you know? Because these are purpose-oriented groups. You can try out as many as you want. Join the endurance group, see if you like it, okay? And there might be another group for art where, like, people paint and stuff and, like, go to different countries and, like, paint different beautiful scenes that they see. And they might get a group where, like, people bake and they, or the baking tribe, or, like, there might be another group where they're, like, people fight. There's all different tribes. And this kind of just sounds like Facebook groups at this point. But the difference is that it's geared towards self-improvement and honest criticism and consistent meeting. Okay, I feel like I've talked for long enough. That's it. Bye.